When you open the book of Joshua in the Bible, you find one of the most violent war chronicles in human history. Entire cities burned, men, women, children, even animals, slaughtered by the edge of the sword. The text doesn't hide it, it celebrates it, and it calls it sacred. The story goes like this. After Moses died, Joshua, son of Nun, led the Israelites into the land of Canaan. The mission? Not just to settle, but to exterminate. The book proudly declares that Jericho was destroyed. Every man and woman, young and old, even the ox and the donkey, struck down. At Ai, 12,000 souls were wiped out in a single day, and city after city followed, Lachish, Hebron, Debir, Hazor, all devoted to destruction. The repeated phrase is chilling. He left no survivor, he left no breath of life. Let's be clear, this is genocide. If any group today wrote down a program like this, it would be labeled what it truly is: terrorism, a manifesto of hate and extermination. And yet because these words are in Scripture, some still treat them as sacred. But here's the twist. Archaeology shows us something very different. Many of the cities Joshua burned, Jericho, Ai, Hazor, were either uninhabited, destroyed centuries earlier, or showed no sign of violent conquest at that time. This isn't history. It's ideology. It's not a record of what happened. It's a record of what extremists wanted to happen. Ancient authors, likely centuries after Joshua, wrote these texts to justify their own political and religious agendas. They dreamed of the total annihilation of their enemies, and they sanctified that dream by calling it God's will. Sound familiar? Isn't this exactly what modern extremist groups do? They write doctrines of hate, they glorify massacres as holy, they tell followers that killing innocents is obedience to God. What we are reading in Joshua is the same psychology. A terrorist manifesto only written in antiquity, then passed down as scripture. And the danger? These texts didn't stay buried in ancient scrolls. For millennia, they inspired wars of religion, crusades, forced conversions, massacres. They continue to echo in the rhetoric of some modern settlers and religious extremists who see in Joshua a divine license to kill, to displace, to terrorize. This is the terrifying power of a genocidal text. Once declared sacred, it never dies. Listen to some of the words written in the book of Joshua. Joshua 6:21, they devoted the city, Jericho, to the Lord, and destroyed with the sword every living thing in it, men and women, young and old, cattle, sheep and donkeys. That's not symbolic, that's total extermination. And Jericho was just the beginning. At I Joshua 8:24-25, when Israel had finished killing all the inhabitants of Ai in the open wilderness, all who fell that day, both men and women, were 12,000, all the people of Ai. Then the campaign moved south. Joshua 10:28. Joshua took Makkedah. He put the king to the sword. He devoted the city and every person in it to destruction. He left no survivors. Joshua 10:30. The Lord gave that city, Libnah also. Joshua put it and every person in it to the sword. He left no survivors. Joshua 10:32. The Lord delivered Lachish into Israel's hands. Joshua took it on the second day. He put it and every person in it to the sword, just as he had done to Libnah. And it continues. Eglon, Hebron, Debir. All the same formula. Joshua 10:39. They captured Debir. They put to the sword everyone in it. They left no survivors. They totally destroyed it. Finally in the north, Joshua 11:11. They put to the sword everyone in Hazor, destroying them completely. Not a soul was left, and Joshua burned Hazor itself, city after city, breath after breath. The phrase repeats like a drumbeat. He left no survivors, he left no soul alive. This is genocide, spelled out in Scripture. If any armed group today wrote these words about their enemies, the world would instantly recognize them as a terrorist organization. And yet archaeology shows a different truth. Jericho, mostly abandoned in Joshua's supposed time. Ai, already destroyed centuries earlier. Hazor, burned, yes, but by whom and when is debated. So what are we reading? Not history, but propaganda. Not fact, but ideology. It's the violent dream of ancient extremists who took their genocidal hopes and wrapped them in the language of holiness. So read it for yourself, the texts are still there. Joshua says it plainly. He left no survivor, he left no soul alive. Now pause and imagine. If a militant group today published a book saying, "We killed every man, woman, and child in this city and God commanded it," would we debate whether this is holy, or would we call it what it is? Terrorism. So why, when these words are written in ancient ink, do we excuse them? And that is the truth we must confront. You can still read these passages in the book of Joshua. They are there in black and white, and you can judge for yourself. This is not the voice of God. This is the voice of human extremists, thousands of years ago, writing down their violent hopes, trying to make genocide sound sacred. And this is the real definition of terrorism, a legacy of hate disguised as holiness. History is full of beauty and wisdom, but it is also full of dangerous texts. It is up to us to read them honestly, to recognize the violence and to make sure that ancient terrorism does not become tomorrow's inspiration.